Hey, everybody, Jeff Morrell here. We have got a great interview coming up. 38 years in the business, almost 7 years at eXp. The man, the myth, the legend, Gene Frederick. Stick around. It's going to be good. Here we go. Gene, you feel like dancing after that?
Man, I'm dancing here. It's
Man,
awesome.
it is good to see you. You're down there in Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There
Been
you
here
go. It's a
3
little
years.
warmer.
Been here
Dude,
3 years. We love it. We love it.
we just had a winter storm here in Colorado. I'm in Colorado Springs, and man, it was like 3 below last night. So I'm
I,
like,
I
yeah,
wore this. I wore this little thing. I had to find it. I
yeah.
had to find this just for you.
There you go. So, man, I appreciate your time. You seriously, it has been great getting to know you the last few years here. It's been great being at EXP. Can you tell everybody, share a little bit of your story while we're on here? You've been in the business for a long, long time. So let's go back to some of that. 38 years, in real estate.
Well,
So,
I
wow.
was with Remax in the '80s,
Okay.
and Remax actually in the '80s was a disruptor, right?
Right.
And then I started my own company in 1989 called Realty Executives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Ran that for 5 years. So
Okay.
I know all the owners that start their own thing. Please call me. And then in 1994 I sold that and went to a small little company in Dallas-Fort Worth called Keller Williams. My wife and I were two of the first 10 agents in Dallas for KW.
Okay.
And the whole company had less than 1,500 agents. And then we were at Keller Williams for 21 years.
Wow.
We started a region. We started the Northern Cal and Hawaii region with my partners, and we were one of the 32 regional owners. And then I started 6 market centers or offices, as everybody knows them. And then 7 years ago, my world was shocked, and just literally, Jeff. When I think about it, 7 years goes like this. I mean,
Yeah.
you and I have known each other a couple of years now,
Mm-hmm.
and but I'd been in real estate basically my whole adult life, and and I met Glenn Sanford and Jason Gessing. Glenn's the founder, and Jason was the CEO, and they told me about this new model, and and when I looked at it, see, the reason is I think I looked at it and saw it so quick was nobody in the industry had gone into the cloud. And I was running the second largest office for KW at the time. And guess what? There were 642 agents. This is 7 years ago, Jeff. Think about this. Seven
Yeah.
years ago. And nobody was coming in the office. That was
Mm-hmm.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
So I knew from a management point of view, agents did not need bricks and mortar. Who was going to be the first one in the cloud? So what the cloud did for eXp, we had been doing it. Glenn started it in late 2009. He had perfected it. Is we didn't need bricks and mortar. So it's kind of like, just you and I were talking before we start. Could you imagine 20 years ago if you met Jeff Bezos? Seriously, if you just
Yeah.
happen to run into him and he goes, "Hey, I went to school with you. What are you doing?" "Well, I'm doing this thing, and I think the cloud's where we can sell books."
Yeah.
And then it goes to other stuff. It's just
Uh-huh.
not the internet. It's the fact that he got rid of retail bricks and mortar. Well, when I met Glenn, I felt like I met Jeff Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. And I thought, this guy is so techie and so sharp and had been in real estate for a long time when I met him. And he says, "Gene, this is where we're going." And then I said, "Well, here, I'm going to tell you the real story." I said, "Well, hey, it sounds cool. How much can I buy Texas for?" And he goes, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, I want to sell me Texas." And he goes, "It's not for sale." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "There's no franchises. There's no." I said, "Excuse me?" So how are you going to grow this thing? See, you got to understand, Jeff, I was used to the franchise model.
Right.
All I knew. And I think that's all we all knew was to start an office, buy a franchise, buy a territory. You buy Colorado Springs, I buy DFW, and we start an office. And of course, have bricks and mortar. And I went, "Well, how are you going to grow it?" And he says, "Gene, we're going to grow it with agents. Agents are going to attract agents." And I went, "Oh, man, this sounds too cool. Now you got to understand, this is 7 years ago. The stock was 18 cents a share. And we were like Wolf on Wall Street. We're a pink sheet. And I'm sitting, he goes, but Gene, if the agents all have stock, don't you think they'll want to do it with us? And I said, yes. The agents will want to do it with us. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
And you know what? I had a gut feel. I don't know about you, but I read the book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the thing. If you just have a gut reaction. And when I met Glenn and I met Jason, first of all, I liked them both. Great men, great individuals. But I said, I think this will work. And you know what? It didn't just work. It's a revolution. It's a movement I never saw coming. I mean, I didn't. I really didn't. I mean, I didn't see that I'd be talking to you someday.
Yeah.
I didn't see that you didn't see it. We all didn't see it coming, but I knew that the industry as a whole had never had a change agent.
Mm-hmm.
Really, because let's face it, all the companies we grew up with, Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Remax, KW, they're all franchises, right? Guess what? Tough road to hoe. I mean, it is hard to grow. It's linear. You just gradually build agents. And then the first year I was with them, I got to tell you, it's almost my 7th year anniversary in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to talk to Glenn and say, dude, the first year I was here, first 12 months, we grew by 178%. Now, nobody thought that was cool, but I said, wait, we went from 864 agents to like 2,400 agents. And everybody went, well, you only have 2,400 agents. I said, do you understand what 178% does? And I had never seen that at KW. The next year we grew by 171%. And I looked at Glenn, I said, we have something. The agents want this. The agents need this. Mm-hmm. Agents do 2 things, Jeff, really well. Guess what they do really well? They don't pay their taxes and they don't plan for retirement.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, I've never been to a realtor retirement party. I've been to realtor funerals, but I've never been to a realtor retirement party.
Well, we're experts.
They don't exist.
We're just good salespeople, but we've never had a way out. Mm-hmm. So, Glenn, we have a way out with our stock and revenue plan. There's 2 other income streams for us at eXp. And that's what I got excited because I knew I could help agents for the first time in a long time.
Right. For sure. Going back real quick, because, so you were at KW for 21 years, 6 market centers, you owned a region. What were some of the biggest challenges that you had with that? Like, what were some of the pain points you had doing that? I mean, because I know you didn't start there. You were a realtor like everybody else, probably buying and selling homes and working with buyers and all that stuff. And at what point did you start going into more of that direction, management, ownership?
What happened was, I think, just like all salespeople, I said, who's getting the money off the top? It was the owners. And it really took me till I had owned my first market center in 1989, but that was, like I said, I had it for 5 years and I sold it. And I was like, oh boy, I don't want to do that again. Right. Then in the early 2000s, I noticed that I was working hard, right? It doesn't matter if you're in management, Jeff, you're working for somebody else, or if you're in sales. You're both, it's hard.
Yeah.
Wait, these owners, they kind of go off to the Caribbean for a while. I don't get to see them. And that's the only way I thought I could get passive in my life. I could get passive income streams in my life was to own a real estate office. So in the early 2000s, within 2 years, I started 6 offices from scratch. Carmel, California, Cupertino, California, Palo Alto, California. These are very expensive towns to start offices in. And then 2 in Texas and 1 on the East Coast. Because I thought, wait, that's my way out. That's the way I could get out. That's the way I could retire. Well, guess what? It was craziness. Yeah. It's like now, you know what I call owning a real estate office, Jeff? The 3:30 club. You know what that is?
No.
You get to wake up at 3:30 every morning.
Oh man. Yeah.
Because when you own it, when you're the owner of that office, doesn't matter if you're a small independent, big independent. I've talked to tons of them. I go, how do you like waking up at 3:30 in the morning? Because you're the owner, right? Now, think of this. That's all I knew. The reason I did that, that's the only way I saw in my mind that I could get that I could get really out of selling homes or working for somebody
Yeah.
in management.
Some freedom. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Stress was a lot of stress owning
Oh,
those and managing all those agents. Yeah.
well, no more canker sores for Gino now.
Right.
You know, I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
my life is so stress free now because now I'm just helping people. I'm helping agents. It's such a relief. It really is. This is
Yeah.
the first time agents can actually get the owner's money off the top. It's just brilliant what
Yeah.
he set up. And once we explained it, once we started getting Mojo, getting Jeff Morrell's, when we started getting people like you, it was like, whoa, this is working.
Yeah.
Right? We're getting the top of the top of the top. I just got the number one agent for a company, doesn't matter, just this week in Dallas, Fort Worth, in the whole state of Michigan. And I'm sitting here, I'm going, they're coming in groves. Because once they see it, right, they can't unsee it.
Totally.
It's a different model. It's
Totally.
a different model.
Yeah. What would you say to, like, because again, there's going to be all kinds of agents watching this over time, brand new agents, seasoned agents, team leaders, broker owners. What would you say to some of those, like the broker owners, like the team leaders, the big team leaders who they just they don't want to look, like they no, been there, done that. Whatever, not interested, love where I'm at, whatever, I not, because my thing is like, just look, like, you don't know what you don't know. It doesn't hurt to look. But what would you say to somebody like that? Like, seriously,
here's what I would tell them. I'd tell them two things. Number one, I was a team leader for 12 years in Keller Williams. I'm in the Team Leader Hall of Fame. My wife and I are in the Team Leader Hall of Fame, and we're not dead. That's what we always tell people. But I was in management. Here's what I would tell. I literally tell team leaders or managers from other companies, there's never been a company invented that benefits our skill set more than eXp. Thank you, Glenn Sanford. Because our skill set is to help agents. Our skill set is to attract agents to a model. It's just crazy. That's what I tell them. Number one, that you don't want to miss out. Number two, you haven't missed the boat. Because I think that's why it's really weird. I think people think they've missed the boat now that we're at 75,000 agents and we're adding 1,000 to 1,500 agents a week. And they go, wait, I missed the boat. And I go, well, you haven't missed the boat.
Right.
There's 20 million realtors across the world. We're just starting.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's what I would say for any owner or leader that loves real estate agents. This was made for us. Yeah. Please look at it. Please look at it. Analyze it.
Well, yeah, but I've owned my own company for a long time. I'm 100%, like, why would I go back to paying, because I get that sometimes, right?
Well, you can't help enough people. Here's what I told somebody the other day, Jeff. This is a real story yesterday.
Yeah.
There was a small broker, 5 agents, right? Very common. A lot of small brokers with 5 agents. He says, why should I disrupt my life with my 5 agents and come to eXp? I said, let me ask you a question. Have you ever told a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old not to think big? I mean, would you ever tell a 4-year-old, oh, by the way, I want you to just do mediocre?
Yeah, no.
Just stop at 5 agents. Why would you say, I just want to help 5 agents? And he looks at me and I said, you're going to have agents all over the world if you do this right. You're going to have agents that you can help everywhere. And you would never tell a kid not to think bigger than they possibly could, would you? Mm-hmm. And he goes, no. I said, come on.
Yeah. When you first saw this, Gene, and how was that process? Did another agent reached out to you and asked you, like, hey, would you take a look at this? Yeah.
Yeah. Elizabeth Riley's my sponsor, and she was one of the agents that was, and she says, she actually told me, she said, Gene, I don't even know how to analyze this. Could you analyze it for me? And I said, sure. I've been to a lot. I'll go meet with whoever you want me to meet with. And really, I think it's that simple. People think they know who we are. I don't really think they do. I'll be blunt. I think the majority of the real estate industry has heard it from their manager or their competitor what we are. They really need to sit down and just take their time and look at the model. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, seriously, when I think about it, Jeff Bezos, could you imagine? I tell people we've met Jeff Bezos. His name's Glenn Sanford in our industry. Yeah. And guess he really, and you know what? You don't want to miss that boat. You don't want to miss out on something that's going to change. Because I guarantee you, Jeff, what do you think? Let me ask you a question. You think 10 years from now, anybody's going to have bricks and mortar Are they all
No.
going to be in the cloud?
No, it's all going to be virtual. It's heading that direction so fast right now. And I think the last couple of years, COVID, all that stuff is just accelerating all that,
The
It just
metaverse.
is.
The metaverse.
Exactly.
We're
Yeah.
the first ones in the metaverse. We're the first ones. And now everybody's going, oh, you mean Facebook changes the name to Meta? Let me see. Do you think they did hard work on that? So we have the metaverse. Guys, we're going to sell real estate. I don't think realtors are going away.
Sure.
I love realtors. We do a phenomenal service. If you serve your clients well, they're always going to use you. You're always going to be able to make money. But the way we work the brokerage side of the business is changing, period. You've got to have agents have part of the ownership of the company with stock. Everybody's trying to copy us now, Jeff, just so you know.
Yeah.
That has to happen. Has to happen. Number two, you've got to give them rev share. I don't think the owners of the other companies are going to risk giving up their money.
Yeah. I'm not sure they can afford to right now with the brick and mortar. I mean, that overhead of that cost, I don't think it's something that they can do, not to this degree at least. I saw a thing today, and I don't know if you saw this or not. Glenn tweeted, after the earnings call. He actually said it in the earnings call. Yeah, I think it's like this last year, $220 million given back to the agents, 50 million in equity, 170 million in revenue share, if I'm thinking that right. That went back to the agents in the company. Like that's when I saw that stat alone, I was like, oh my goodness, like that's amazing.
Jeff,
think about that.
Jeff, that was our 12th year in business.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Where was Amazon after 12 years? Where was Airbnb? Where were Uber? They're not even 12 years old. All these companies, what I'm saying is it's changing so fast.
Yeah.
So that basically if you don't jump on now, you're going to look up there. People are going to look up 3-5 years from now and go, oh my gosh. I remember when Jeff Morale called me, but I didn't return his call. Or I said, no, I'm too busy. I don't want to look at it. Guys, it just takes a half an hour, 45 minutes to really look at them all.
Yeah. Just evaluate it for yourself because you don't know what you don't know. This is not, I think when, I've always been open to looking at stuff. When Sean Sturrock reached out to me, hey, Jeff, would you take a look at this? And, Rob Flick, I've known Rob for a long time. And I'm like, sure, I'll look. I'm like, I'm not moving. Been there, done that, the big companies. I was at a 100% company prior to this. Had my team. We're doing 200 deals a year. I'm good. But I've always been open to looking because you don't know what you don't know. I'll certainly look. Good to see what the competition's doing. But I told Sean I'm not moving. And a week later we moved. I mean, it just I'm like, that wasn't what I planned on doing. But it just made too much sense to me. I was the 13th agent here in Colorado Springs to join. We'll hit 400 here in the next, probably couple months. It's grown. You had
your blink. You had your blink like I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the things when I saw this, Gene, I was just like, okay, like what if this does what I think it could do? Like I'm just like, I don't want to miss it. First of all, but I knew I wasn't locked in. If it, a year from now, it's not what I thought. Hey, I can go back to where I came from. They'll take me back, whatever. But it's done so much more than I ever even imagined it would do in the 4 years that I've been here. I mean, I think about the next 4 years. I'm like, my head spins like in such a great way. I can't imagine where this is going to go. And you've been here almost 7. I mean, think about that. What and where do you see this going? I mean, if we had a crystal ball here 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what do you see eXp looking like? Any thoughts on that?
Well, here's what I will tell you, and I am on the board of directors for the company, so
Sure.
I really can't do any projections. But
Right.
but I will tell you this: number one, everybody's going to be virtual. Everybody's going to be in the cloud. We've got way ahead of that. Number two, I think everybody's going to have to give ownership to agents via stock. A lot of people have stock, but they don't give it to the agents. It's very important. And number three, somebody's going to have to compete with us with revenue share. Like Glenn said, we gave $170 million in revenue share in our 12th year. 5 years from now, that's going to be bonkers. I don't know what the number is going to be, but it's going to be craziness. It's going to be but that's the owner's money, right? So just think of that. He's going, I'm going to give half of it to the agents that help us grow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I think eXp is going to lead other industries into this. It's not just, I really believe, I've been talking to other people in other industries. I said, have you thought about doing a revenue share program? They go, no, what are you talking about? I go, well, you ought to do one. Because you've got tons of these salespeople. I won't tell you what business it was in. And he goes, well, I said, what if you brought over one of those salespeople from another company and they came over here and you got half of their income they gave to the company? He goes, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I said, man, whoever does it in your industry first is going to win. And he's thinking of doing it. I think we've started something. Glenn has created a model, kind of like the old franchise model was new in the early 70s. There were no franchises in the 70s. And then all of a sudden franchises came out, right? Mm-hmm. And that's run its gambit. And I think this is the new model for sales organizations.
Yeah, the next thing. You want to talk real quick? The fourth quarter earnings, those came out this morning. That was exciting to see. I was on the live call that we all had. What are some of your thoughts on that, man? There's some big stuff that came out there this morning.
Well, the biggest stuff that I think that people don't understand about the company is we have zero debt because we don't have furniture. We don't have phone systems. We don't have copiers. So all the old things that we used to have to borrow against, and we don't have lease payments. So I think what people don't even understand is that we have zero debt on our balance sheet. Zero long-term debt, zero short-term debt. Think of that. 75,000 real estate agents with no rent and no debt and over $100 million in the bank. I think that's the biggest thing. I never thought we could build a company this big, this fast without, everybody always says, well, you might as well borrow some money to go do this or whatever. And we haven't had to. I think that's brilliant. And,
for sure.
And Glenn and I talked about that early on because we always said we're going to lead with revenue. And we've led with revenue.
There were a couple of things that came out, with this, just did a couple of these highlights while we're on here. Revenue doubled over the prior year, 110% year over year to $3.8 billion in revenue. Gross profit, 85% up to $296 million. Another cash dividend, getting launched out there, which is cool for the stock. The stock went up, 19.52% today in one day. I mean, the stock market was taking a beating today, all the stuff going on, over in Ukraine and everything else. And, whatever, it started to come up a little bit at the end. I think the stock market was up like 0.2% as a whole, but we jumped 19.52% today in one day.
I think the investment committee, well, here's what's happening, Jeff. I think the investors, because, the stock market's kind of a funny thing when you think about it. Sure. You have people that think they know the real estate industry, but they don't even know that we're different. I talk to stockbrokers sometimes and they go, oh, you're just I had one the other day. You're just another real estate company. I said, excuse me?
Yeah.
I said, is Airbnb just another place to sleep? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, are you kidding? I mean, is Uber just another taxi cab company? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, we're different. We're not different a little bit. We've created a whole new model.
Flipped it completely on its head.
We flipped it. And then he goes, oh, really? And I go, so don't call us just another real estate company. You've got to be in it. We own Success Magazine. We own our platform. We own Verbella. We own a metaverse. I mean, just think of this. And I looked at him and I said, you really don't know real estate companies, do you? Because, the stockbrokers, now here's what I would say. The biggest thing I got up today with the 19.52, some investors are paying attention. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some investors do read the report. Some of the investors do go, how are they making money? And a lot of these other real estate companies aren't making money. Don't you think? I think that's what happened.
Oh, for sure. I talk to agents all the time that are other companies buying our stock. Like, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm like, you should come over here. Come take a look. You don't know what you don't know. Because we're not just another company. That's the thing. I think that's the misnomer out there. It's just whatever. Like, we're not another Remax. We're not another Keller. This has never been done before. Right. To this degree, it's never been done before. We're completely, it's a game changer. It's a disruptor in the real estate, just like, Uber was a disruptor in the taxi industry, Airbnb, Netflix, these disruptors. This is a disruptor, and to jump into that early, and it's still early. That's what I get excited about, because I've been here 4 years. I mean, it's just, we're just getting started with this. 18, 19 countries now. We got another couple coming here in the first quarter. I mean, this thing, we're going around the world with this idea. And
we had a meeting in Dominican Republic 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
1,000 agents came
Wow.
to the meeting to hear about eXp. A
Yeah.
thousand. It was
Yeah.
crazy, and I look at what people are doing, because again, we have no limits. We're not trying to sell a franchise in Dominican Republic. We're just allowing agents to attract agents, to attract agents. So it's a different model to attract people to our industry, and I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just brilliant; it's working. Here's the cool part, Jeff. You mentioned COVID. Since COVID, I have not. Nobody's asked me where the office is anymore.
Yeah.
They don't go,
Great
"Hey,
point.
where's your office?" I go, "Well, we're in the cloud. We've got the metaverse." And they go, "Oh yeah, okay. I haven't been in my Remax in 2 years anyway."
Yeah. Yeah. For
Right?
sure. Well, and the whole international piece, like I'm for me right now. I mean, and again, we're building it. I'm getting paid on closings, revenue share. In
Right.
India, Mexico, Canada,
Wow.
Brazil, and then right now 10 states, 12 states in the U.S.
Wow.
I love it. Just getting
Well,
started.
it's
So
just
it's
getting
awesome.
started.
Yeah.
That's a big point to make, Jeff. We're just
Yeah.
getting started, guys. Who's ever listening to this, check us out. Call Jeff.
Yeah.
I'll get on the phone with you too, kind of show you the whole system, whatever you want.
Sure.
But
Definitely.
I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to help real estate agents.
Yeah.
I'm on
Well,
a
and that's why I
mission.
love sharing it. Oh, you guys just recruit. No, but this is so much better. You owe it to yourself, your family, your future, just to look at it, because I'm telling you, to get paid multiple ways for what you're going to do anyway. 5 years are going to go by anyway. I used to dread January, because my team, when I had my big team, we were doing 200 deals a year, but January I'm right back at zero. Oh my God, the hamster wheel, having to do it all over again. I mean, I'd be depressed for the first 2 weeks every year. I mean, I'm just burnt out. I'm tired, And this thing is just like, man, it's giving us new life. That's what it feels like. How's this? And again, just to wrap things up here, Gene, and I so appreciate your time. You've been here almost 7 years.
Right.
And obviously, just how has this changed your life and your family's life?
I think it's helped me. I have 5 kids, Jeff. They're all adults now, of course. I have 5 kids and 9 grandkids. My daughter was here this week visiting in Puerto Rico, and she said, "Dad, you've helped me think bigger."
Nice.
I mean, she goes, what you've done for me is help me imagine a bigger life. I think what it's done for me and for my family and for others is I'm just trying to help them get out of the rat race and get out of thinking small or just thinking, like you said, okay, we got to go sell this many homes this year to make this much money and pay 40% in taxes and blah, blah, blah. And it just starts over the next year. And it's really weird. She says, everything you said 7 years ago has come true. And I said, and she goes, she believed me. She's in it with us. Her name's Nicole. And she goes, I just believed it was going to happen. I want people to believe it's already, we've proven it's happened. But I think for me and my family, I'm gonna be able to leave a legacy that's going to live well past me, my friend, which is what I want to do.
Yep, absolutely. Changing lives around the world. So
Come on, baby.
It's happening. Well, Gene, I appreciate your time. You're going to be in Cabo here in a couple weeks?
Yes, I'll be in Cabo in about
Heck
10
yeah.
days or so.
Yep,
Looking
the
forward
5th,
to
the
it. Hope
5th
to
of
see you
March.
guys there.
Yeah, we will be there. My wife and I are coming. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Wouldn't miss it. Wouldn't miss it. So it's going to be a great time. Guys, seriously, you can comment down below here. If you have any questions, whatever, for Gene, put them down there. We'll get in touch with him. We can get the answers for you. But, if you're on YouTube, hit the like button down there. Subscribe to us, whatever. We're doing this a couple times a week with agents all over the country, around the world. Here at eXp, hearing the stories, great stuff. So anyway, totally appreciate your time, Gene. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
man.
Jeff.
You are the
Have a
legend.
good-
You are the man. So thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.